Greetings, code traders. It is Wednesday, January 9th, 2019, and today the news is going to come out. So far today, though, on the chart that you see here on the 10-minute, the code 3 has done very well. But as a general rule, you really don't want to do much trading before the news comes out, because generally speaking, the market will generally go sideways. It doesn't always go sideways. Like you see here during the European session, it did make a nice move up here and then a nice move up here. And then now we're going into the USA session. And so usually what happens in the USA session is it goes pretty much sideways. Now, not always though. Sometimes it does make moves. But as a general rule, it goes sideways. So why bother to trade that market when the news comes out? Then the action is going to happen and you're going to get bigger moves from that. What I'm looking to see today is how well the code 3 will actually handle the news. Or we could just use a standard Newsday entry. But instead of using the standard Newsday entry, which is a really good, it's a really good code, it's a really good entry, but I'm just thinking here, I just thought of something. They actually sort of in a way coincide with each other. Yeah, they do. The Newsday entry and the code 3 sort of coincide with each other. So I'm thinking that the code 3 should work good off of the news. News will come out at 7:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, yesterday I said in the video that oil was a good likelihood that any day it would make a big move up, like 300 or 400 ticks. Well, so far today it's turning out to be that day. A very good chance of it. So take a look at the daily here. Okay, so far we're starting off right here and we're at the top of a daily bar. That's green. We've broken out completely from the range. Gone way past the previous high, right? And here comes the news. It's going to come in about an hour and 12 minutes from now. So the news is coming and it's already broken. When you see that happen, see that scenario happen, you're not going to see this very often, but when you do, just know, mathematically speaking, it is a very high chance of turning into the day that I had said that it would go up 300 or 400 ticks, and it's just gotten started. So we're looking for another big move up. Now, we can get long at any time with code 3 if code 3 gives us a long entry. Play conservative, put a break-even stop on it once ahead a little bit, and let it go. Either hits the break-even stop or keeps on going. Now sometimes that can be dangerous doing that on the news, but you know, here's another weird thing. For the news, it used to always be where it would move up and down at the news in a really big way. It used to go like 50 ticks up, 100 ticks down. Once it already went 50 ticks up, it goes 100 ticks down, so 50 ticks below where it started from. And then do something else from there. Either keep going back up or keep going back down. Or do both. Go back up and go back down. And it get really, really wild there for a little while after the news. Then it started slowing down where all of a sudden now it just goes in one direction with the news. And then usually we'll reverse and go in the other direction for the rest of the time. Or it'll go in one direction in the news and then keep going in that direction. So that was a slowdown in what it had already previously done by going up and down. And now it just goes up and then slowly back down, or goes up and keeps going up. To where now lately it's been not even really doing anything at the news. Doesn't really even do much at all. anything more than what it normally does when it normally trades. It doesn't make a big 50 tick shoot up in 1 second or anything like that. Or 100 ticks up in a few seconds or anything like that. It doesn't do that now. So the risk that there used to be of being close to where the entry was and then it going against your position and then, wiping you out for 50, 60, 70, 80 tick losses is gone. Well, lately it's been gone. So you can actually play the code 3 coming into the news to see if it doesn't, now you need to do the mathematics on that. This is one thing that doing the charting would really help. We could track and then do the mathematics, keep the mathematics for how often it works, how often that particular technique works. For instance, getting in just prior to the news using the code 3. Does it get you in going the right way? How often? What's the mathematics on it? That way we could use that trade if it's good, which I have a feeling that it is, but I'm not entirely certain, but it's something for us to look at. But remember now, code 3 is brand new. Just discovered it, so I've not had a lot of time to fully analyze it and see what its potential actually is. So for instance, it makes sense that if we were to get a code 3 long entry between now and when the news comes out, we could take that code 3 long entry. I mean, we would be playing not just the code 3, we'd also be playing the chart. And most likely, we're going to get ahead a bit, and we'll be able to place a break-even stop on it, and we won't have to worry about it after that. So it's a relatively good trade, good technique to use. But see how you're using the code 3 with the daily chart though? Whenever you see yourself in a position like this, you really want to look to get long somewhere. If the code gives you a long entry, by all means, take it. Right now, the market really is going sideways. Go take a look. See right here on the 10-minute, it's just going up and down a very tight range here. So it's getting tight before the news comes out. But I suspect that a code 3 signal will come. And if it goes long, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it long. But see now, look, okay, the 10-minute looks good, right? Come up really hard, go sideways, come up really hard, go sideways. Get another pop higher here, right? If we're going to make 400 ticks today, it's got to make a move somewhere, right? Okay, hang on a second. We might be getting a signal here. I'll be right back. Okay, I've gotten a code 3 signal to go long, so I've taken a long entry. Stop is at 51.08. I will be back. Starting to come down here. Stop needs to hold, of course, for the code 3 to be good. The code in general is a little bit risky to take prior to the news because it's going to go up and down this choppy motion. But I wanted to take a long signal, if I could get one, to try to get in on this daily chart here. But it may come and get me. We'll see. But I might get another chance at the code 3, and it might get another long entry, which I might take. It just depends on what it looks like. But right now, it's really, if you look at the 1 minute, you can really see the sideways motion. See right here? You can zoom out a little bit. Right there, you see? It's really going up and down in a bad range right now. But if it goes up and breaks, we don't want to miss it. We did get a code 3 long entry, so as long as the stop holds, it could really go. I'll come back. Okay, it's starting to pop higher here. Let's see how much it wants to go. We're in on the daily now. Remember I said 400 tick day coming. This one could very well be it right here. Now it's just a question of, is this entry going to be good? will I be able to hold it and hit that, big amount? And I need to calculate what this thing was going to be good for too. I mean, what it could potentially be good for. It's already moved 49.71, 170 ticks. You get like 150 ticks from it, maybe. Maybe 150. 100 ticks would be a lot better math. 100 ticks would be pretty high math to hit that exit. I've already got a 100 tick exit on it now. So now it's just a matter of placing a break-even stop on it here soon and letting it go. Wait for it to get like 20 ticks ahead or so. How much did it already get ahead? Up to 42. I'm at 25. Okay, 17 ticks. This is almost 20 ticks. Let's see it go break one more time. We'll place it. You want to be too aggressive on these break-even stops, but at the same time you want to place them. Okay, let's go place it. Alright, break-even stop in place. Now I'm just going to let it go. It'll either hit the break-even stop or it'll hit the exit. And I might go for an extra 50 ticks. Go for 150. At the same time, I can pay attention to the code 3. Gave me a long entry and now I got a beautiful break on the chart. But what will the code 3 continue to say? It could easily say go short, in which case you'd obviously want to get out and go short. But the code 3, it was here going up and down in the sideways range. You saw me get in and all of a sudden it popped higher. It's certainly not a coincidence, that's for sure. It's because the code told me that, basically. Yeah, I mean, it told me, it gave me the long entry, but you could, if you were looking at the code prior to what it had given the signal, you would see it was all very tight and it was getting ready to break. And then I got a code 3 long entry. That was the direction I wanted to go with the daily chart. I didn't want to fight the daily chart and go down. I wanted to go with it. And continue to go higher and go much higher. I'm thinking, it's going to go much higher. So I'm wanting to get in somewhere and ride it up a lot higher. Anyway, now you're seeing what one of these days looks like. What does a 300 or 400 tick day look like? Well, I think this is very high chance that this is going to be a 300 or 400 tick day on the daily. Got off to an early start on the European, but it's continuing now in the USA session. And if it continues, it's going to be a 300 or 400 tick day on the chart. And there's also one more secret that I know about. Well, I know this from the charting, actually. And this won't always be true, but lately, for quite a while actually, they have been using the news day to make these big moves on the daily. To make, especially going long, and especially in scenarios like this, where it's been going in one direction and then it goes into another direction in a radical way, in a big way. It uses this type of scenario where on the news day, on Wednesday, it'll make this big move. And when the news comes out, what's going to happen is it's going to make a move up into the news and then just basically keep going up. the whole day. And just make a, well, let's go, like a bar like this. Let's see, we can go back, here we go back to here when it was going up, right? Instead of going down for so long, a bar like this, or a bar like this, or a bar like this. You know, these got these big bars, right? That's what it looks like it's going to do today, is make one of these big bars. And this is what it looks like. See it here on the 10 minute, got a big move in the euro, big move, another big move on the euro, and now USA session starts, big move already. And when you feel the trading, when you're looking at the chart, say you go take a look at the 1 minute, just to sort of see what it looks like. You see I got in right here and it was just going sideways, right, the whole time. You can zoom out a little bit. It was just going sideways for so long. I got it right there and then boom, it goes up. Anyway, what I'm showing you right here is a scenario that doesn't happen very often. Well, it depends what you mean by very often. I mean, it doesn't happen, once a week. It doesn't happen, might happen once a month. Yeah, maybe something like that. It's kind of a special trade where I can see it coming because I've seen it hundreds of times before. And so I can see it again, see it coming before it happens. And it's going to be a big day. Of course, it's not rocket science. I mean, you sit there and say, oh, got a straight green bar on the daily, and you think it's going to go even higher. It's not. But in terms of taking trades and using the codes and everything like that, it's very useful to know what it's likely to do. Right, let's take a look at the code here. Don't have a code 3 signal. Got a code 1 short entry. No code 3 signal though. Let's see here, we do have 2 code 2s. And they're both longs. Yeah, we have 2 code 2 long. We have 1 code 3 long. Actually, I think we got more than that long. I haven't calculated them actually. I just calculated the last one I saw, which is the last one that came, and that's one I saw, so I took it. And but I think there's more of them. So there's 2 code 2 longs. At least 1 or multiple code 3 longs. That's a lot. That's a lot of codes to push this thing up higher. Let's see if our code, well, actually the code 3 is a lot lower down on the stop, but I'm not going to change it. Hits my break-even stop, it hits it. It's no big deal. I can get back in on many other codes. I mean, code 3 is what I'm doing here. So I can just get back in on another code 3 if it goes long. If it hits my break-even stop. Anyway, I will come back. Okay, it came and hit the break-even stop. So I'm back out right now. And I'm looking for another code 3 signal. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, I did get a code 3 signal. It was a short entry. I'm not going to take it. I don't want to take a signal going against the chart right now. Especially not with the news coming out. So the news is going to come out here in 35 minutes. And I just don't think that that's a very good play right there. It's coming down pretty hard here though. Anyway, I'm not going to take it. I did get a code 3 signal to go short, but I'm not taking it. I will come back And I am going to possibly take another signal if I get one long, or I'm going to just use the news, and then we'll use the code 3. Instead of using the Newsday entry, we'll use a code 3 entry. I'll be back. You know, I said that that was a code 3 short entry. That was not a code 3 short entry. And I start looking at this chart better than that. You know, you do have to be very careful. And that was not a code 3 short entry. I still do not have a code 3 entry yet. Let's see here. Let's make sure of that. Yes. Yes, I do not have a code 3 entry yet. Okay, so the news is going to come out in 28 minutes. If I get a code 3 long entry prior to the news coming out, I'm going to take it. I'm going to take it and we'll see if that technique works today. I think it will work mathematically. It will work very good. And today, if it's going to work today real good. So I'm going to take it today. If I get it, I'll come back. Okay, news is about to come out here. I'll be right back. Okay, it's shooting down here. Take a look at it. Okay, I'll be right back. Actually, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the code 3 signal. As soon as I get the code 3 signal, I'll take it and I'll come back. By the way, code 3 prior to the news did not work. I would not recommend using code 3 prior to the news coming out. And I mean that like in a larger sense as well. During the USA session, I wouldn't trade it prior to the news coming out with the code 3. Just wait for the news to come out and then use a code 3 entry. Okay, I've got a code 3 long signal, so I'm now long. I'll be right back. Okay, let's take a look at it here. 10-minute. Take a look at the daily. Okay, daily looking really good. So we got a code 3 long signal after the news. Actually, hang on one second. Yeah, take that back. We have 2 code 3 long signals right now. 2 of them. Almost back to back. Almost at the same time, I mean. So we are good to go. Daily looks perfect. 2 code 3 long signals. Also, before the code 3 ever gave a signal to go long, the Newsday entry gave a signal to go long earlier, much earlier. So, you know, I was thinking about it. Yeah, that way is actually better to play it on Wednesday for oil. Now for everything else, you just use the straight code 3, but for oil specifically, you would want to use a Newsday entry for it instead of the code 3. And also, if you're tracking the code 2, like within the charting, for instance, it actually, and you know what to do, how to use the code 2, then it's actually better, easier. I shouldn't say better, but it's easier. It's a lot easier to do. Take a lot less time. And so the code 2 in that way is better. But like I said, the code 3 can be used with everything. And that's what I'm going to start demonstrating next week. We'll do another instrument next week instead of oil this week. But anyway, as you can see, it's moving up pretty good here. So again, it's turning into one of these days, one of these big days here. Or if we go back a little ways, one of these big days, one of these, just a nice big day. And it's turning into it. Now we're going to see how much we can catch out of it. Now let's see. What is it already gone? 49.71. Okay, so 200 ticks. If it goes 400, it's good for 200 more. If it goes 300, it's good for 100 more. So we should be able to get at least 100 more out of it. So 100 from our position, my position here. Well, there's a whole bunch of people in with me, right? Yeah, there's quite a few Code 3 traders out there, everyone. Yeah, there's quite a few. So I'm sure a lot of people are in with me right now, and we'll see what this thing is going to do. But it looks very good, and it should continue to go higher and go considerably higher, at least 100 more ticks, if not maybe 200 more ticks. So what I'm going to do is just sort of play a wait and see game on it, and but I'm going to bank on 100 ticks from here. But I might increase it to 150, possibly even 200. One of the ways I would judge that would be how fast does it make it to my 100 tick exit? Does it make it to it relatively quickly? You know, say within 30 minutes to an hour, I would go for more. But if it plays a game too much, like let's take a look at the 10 minute. If it plays too much of a game where it goes up and then back down and up and back, something like that, no, I wouldn't go for it anymore. This is one of those times where it's either going to go or it won't. And I think it's going to go. That's what it looks like to me. Well, just look at the daily. And we have code 3 entries say go long. So we are sitting good right now. Again, the code is always in motion. We're always getting new code entries. And you always go with the newest one. So if you're in one, like we're in one right now, going long, and all of a sudden a code 3 says go short, what should you do? Reverse and close the position. Or just close the position and then go short. But if you have this feature, reverse and close position, with whatever software you're using, then that's easy enough. You can just do that. But what I would like to sort of teach you over time is how much you can use the daily chart with the code, with all the codes. But with all the codes. But if you're going to use code 3, that's one of the codes, and you could use it with the daily chart. And you can learn how to use it over time. See, I know how to use it because I've been doing it for a long time. But over time, you learn how to use it. And you can sort of combine what the chart looks like with what the code tells you to do. And all of a sudden, you'll start to see a pattern where it keeps doing it over and over again, where the chart looks like this. It gives you a long. What does it usually do? Keeps going up. Easy enough. Those are the easy ones. The harder ones are the ones that really move back and forth, like this one here. You know, the code, like for instance, the code 2 would have given you signals and everything to be able to catch it. But those can get a little tricky too. It just depends on how it was, how the code works on it that particular day. Let's just say that. Anyway, where is my exit? 100 ticks puts me up at 52.36. Getting closer. See what the 10 minute looks like. Oh, that does not look good, does it? Let's try that again. Alright. Okay, 10 minute. See, it looks good. Zoom out a little bit. The start of the day here. Popped up again. Came back down. Got everybody. Got me too because I was long. And then I took another long entry there. Code 3 gave me another long entry. Took it. I'm back in. Trying to get a big trade out of this thing. Daily chart looks about as good as it's going to look. It doesn't really look a whole lot better than that. Actually, it doesn't ever look any better than that. You're still sitting in a code 3 long, and we're sitting at the very top, even making new highs. So it doesn't get much better than that. Actually, it doesn't get any better than that. At least not that I can think of. Except for on the downside. I love the downside. But after you've been going down for, how long did we go down for? Almost 2 months? After you go down that far for so long, it has to be like a equilibrium, so to speak. You know, it has to balance out. And you're going to get these big days where it pops, boom, 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 just like here. You get big days coming down. Big day down, big day down, big day down. Same thing, go in the reverse. You're going to get big days up, but not every day is going to go up big. But this one right here, let's assume it's going to be 300, 400 ticks today. This is just going to be the start of an even bigger move coming back up. And there's going to be more big days. And just give you guys a tip here on YouTube. Lately they've been doing it on Wednesday and Friday. But that will change, as the codes always do. And that's one of the reasons why tracking it is so good. I may come out with a charting service in the future, not right now, that will break the code 1 every day for certain instruments, chart out the code 2, track it, and chart out the code 3, and statistically analyze and track which instrument is doing the best at the particular time, which session is doing the best, Asian session, European session, USA session, what kind of techniques are working the best, halfback technique, on which instruments, how often they're working, what percentage. Analyze it in many different ways like that to provide very useful and valuable information at your fingertips to show you exactly what's going on. So you're not sitting there trading gold still, not realizing that gold has died and it's not moving. You know, you wouldn't want to do something like that, obviously. You're probably, thinking, well, I don't do that. Well, you're right, but at certain times, certain things will move more than others. Like, for instance, let's say the Dow is really moving, but you're not noticing it. But you see at the top, it would be listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many we analyze. You will see which one is in first place, which one's in second place, and third place, etc. This thing's getting really close, isn't it? Okay, see what I said? If it gets up to 100 ticks relatively quickly, what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go for more ticks. And it did exactly what I said. So, let's take it up. $86 would be 150. Now, I could go 200, but if I do that, it's stretching the math a little bit. And the math is not going to be as good to hit that trade. But if I keep it at 150, the math is still going to be pretty good. Pretty high still. Not as high as just at 100, but still pretty high. So, that's what I'm going to go for it right now, is at 150. Also, paying attention to the code 3 at all times. go back and look at the 10 minute. Okay, so, you know, I am just sitting here and patiently waiting for it to continue to go up and go hit my 150 tick exit. Again, if I wanted to go for more, I could. If I wanted to go on manual, I could. I could just cancel all right here, and it would cancel my stop, cancel my exit, and I would be manual, and I could just get out anytime I wanted. Don't really recommend doing that though. I think you should always play in a controlled manner, putting your stop, putting your exit exactly where you want it to be, exactly where it should be. And anytime you want, you can just get out right here. Anytime. So, anytime you're free to get out. Never want to take those stops away, or even the exits. If you want to move them, move them. Again, take a look at the daily. You know, what has it been doing basically the whole time? The whole entire time, it's just been going slowly up. It did make a move down a bit one time, and then it came all the way back up again and went green, and it's just gone slowly up. And that's a sign right there that it's going to be one of those big days, because that's what it does. It just keeps going up slowly, and it goes up the whole time. Basically never really coming down except for that one time. It's going to take a look at it on the 10 minute. Right there. Just that one time, and then continued. It should do that pretty much for the rest of the time. Problem is there's not a whole lot of time left. 8:41, 9:41, 10:41. So there's really only about 2 hours left. Got 2 more hours of good trading for it to continue. Exit is sitting up at 52.86. It's just a good mathematical trade right there. Again, this trade has a certain feel to it, where it just, when it had gone up, it never did go back down, just went sideways, and then it went up again, and it never did go back down, and then it went up again, and then it went sideways, and then just one time it moved down and then went up again, and it never did go back down. It just kept going up. That's basically what it was doing before. Only now, it's the time is running out, squeezing the time. So if it's going to make it to 300-400 ticks, it needs to go even more to make it there. And that's exactly what it's doing. And you could see the trade before it ever even happened. Well, by seeing it many times like I have, or by me pointing it out to you before it happened, of what it looks like, what it feels like, how it just keeps going up on the daily, for instance. You know, it just has a feel to it where it just keeps slowly going up, slowly going. Never does come back. Never does one of these or one of these or something. Just keeps going. That's your sign that that's the big trade. That's the one that's just going to keep going up, keep going up, keep going up. It's useful to be able to feel them when they come, because then you know to just hold them. Go for a good sized trade. And then you calculate what you can get. Like, for instance, what's this bar worth? 42.52 up to 47. Yeah, it's a lot, 450. It's definitely moves pretty good. Just to confirm something. What's this one? You see that one's only 200 ticks. Yeah, let me just back out a little bit. I can't see the whole thing on the chart. That one's not so big in comparing. Yeah, I guess it is. Okay. Yeah, well, that was a big day. So, but just going by historically, it usually does about 400 ticks or so. Actually, it does between 3 and 400 ticks, generally speaking. So it's just continuing to move straight up. Getting closer to my 150 tick exit. Let me just confirm, how many ticks have we already gone? Almost 300 ticks. If it's almost 300 and it does 400, that's an extra 100 ticks from here. That's an extra 100 ticks. Alright, I'm going to come back. We might get a code 3 signal here. I think we are. And let's see what it says. It says to keep going long, or if it says to go short. I'll come back. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here. Okay then. Alright, I'm out. Let's see what it wants to do. Here's the 1 minute. So we got a nice run up there. And then the 10 minute. And then the daily. Now, if you knew what the code 3 was, many of you do, we might get another signal here. It might give us a long signal. If it does, we'll just go back long again. If not, then it'll come back down. And it's even possible it could give us a short signal. And if it did, we just go short on it. There's one thing about the code 3 is that it allows for you to not make mistakes. There are ways to make mistakes, though. We need to rescind the time that's good for trading oil. Let me do that in a more appropriate way. But we need to do that, and I'll do that with an update video to code 3. Alright, let's go figure this out again really quick. How many ticks? $52.71 would be 300, so it's not quite moved 300 ticks yet. I mean, there is a possibility that it would only go that far and not any further. It is very possible. That's a good sized bar right there. So what we need to do is just not take a guess at it, and we need to use the code on it. Now, we actually do have a code too, but that code 2 is going to be, well, we can use a code 3 entry on it anyway. But if this thing does not go short and it actually goes long, we're going to be in a good position here. We got out pretty high, and then we're just going to get back in, going long, and we could make, about another 100 ticks or so. And the whole time using code 3. Code 3 is very good, very powerful. Okay, everyone, I hate to cut it short today, but it's late here, and I am going to call it a day. The code 3 is still good for more trades. It's going to give a signal here. I'm not sure what it's going to be. Actually, take a better look at it already. Anyway, it's giving signals, and there's more to play that you could play this thing, but I just don't want to stay up for it right now. And anyway, tomorrow I'll stay up later, but I'm behind on sleep. I woke up early this morning. Anyway, so I'll be back tomorrow to do some more trading. Code 3 handled the news well, but the Newsday entry actually would have got you in even at a better price. So Newsday entry wins the comparison today versus the code 3, but code 3 is still very good, obviously. Okay, here's one thing about the code 3. The code 3 was just one entry and it was right. Whereas the Newsday entry, you could have gotten fooled by that, lost the first trade, then went the other way, and then got it right. That's what would have happened for a lot of people, I think. So that's the difference. So maybe it's just better overall for the code 3 not to get it wrong to begin with. Oh yeah, and there is a short entry on the code 3. I just don't want to stay up for it right now, but take a look at it on the 10-minute. Yeah, there's a short entry for code 3 short entry. But here's the problem with that trade. You're fighting the daily right there. And it may come down a bit, but how far down is it really gonna come? That's the question. Probably not that far. So it's not really such a great trade. Now if we get it going back the other way with a code 3, that would be better to ride it back up again. Anyway, you could get some ticks out of it though. If you wanted to squeeze some ticks out, 30, 40 ticks or something like that, you could probably do it. Anyway, so I'm going to get going. I'll be back on Thursday to do some more code 3 trading, and then again on Friday. And then next week I will start to demonstrate the code 3 for a lot of other instruments. And you're going to be amazed at how good, well, actually, a lot of you are already code 3 traders, and you're already doing it on other instruments, so you already know. And I've got a lot of feedback from code 3, which I'm going to do a code 3 review video showing all the feedback that I've gotten so far. And I'm really happy that so many of you are doing so well using the code 3. And for those of you who are struggling, you must be doing something wrong, and it's for you to figure out what that is and fix it, and whatever it is, it'll fix itself, and you'll be able to do what you see me doing, for instance, and what so many other people are doing. Code 3 really is the key to the markets, but you do need to have a good moving market, and thankfully for all of us. We're sitting at the best time right now. This is the best time of year for the next 6 months. It's the best time out of the whole year to trade the futures, trade oil. So, and right now it's doing very well, and this should only continue. We should have some big days coming up. And that's another way that you can use the code 3. Try not to fight the daily. Unless you know the code 2 and you know the reversal points. And then you could use that as the, you know it's going to snap back up, or you know it's going to snap back down, for instance, off of a code 2 reversal. And you see it happen, and then the code 3 confirms it, and then, you know, so you get in, and now you know it's going to reverse and go back the other way. But those are, you know, certain special trades. This is certainly no chance of that happening today. It is a move up, go green day, if there ever was one. That's why going short, even though the code 3 says to go short, it's a question of, yes, it's going to be good for a certain amount of ticks, but how many ticks? And if it's a trade that's not really worth that many ticks, it's not really worth it to take it. It's only trades that have a good chance to make a lot of ticks are good ones to take. So I suppose by the nature of the oil market, you could use the code 3 sort of like a code 2, where you just take an entry using the chart and then hold it for a large trade. I mean, you could do something like that. The only thing you would need to know, though, is the code 2 so that you could know the reversal point. So you don't get caught into a reversal point, for instance. Yeah, you know, I was just thinking the best way then would be to track the code 2 and then just use the code 3 entry for it. That would be the easiest trade. The easiest and most profitable trade you could get. You would just take one trade, it would always win, and you would make a certain amount of ticks, which is also tracked. Anyway, I'm going to get going, everyone. I'll see you on Thursday for some more trading. Hope you code 3 traders are doing well. Looking at the other charts, you know what's funny is I'm looking at the ES, the NQ, the RTY, and the YM, and I've got them all up on a 10-minute chart. And do you know what they look like? They all look identical to each other. Yeah. Silly, huh? Well, anyway, the code works on all of them, and I'm going to start demonstrating that. And it's just a matter of which one moves the most. I certainly cannot tell by looking at the charts. They all look to be moving the same to me. So, oil is the only one that has a different looking chart. Yeah, oil is the only one that has a different looking chart. All the other ones look the exact same almost. Let's see, let me just take a look one more time. What does oil look like? Yeah, oil is the only one that looks different. All the other ones look almost identical. And it's always like that too. But ironically, total irony, the code 3 actually works better on the other ones instead of oil. And I'm not sure why that is, but I think it's because of the code 2. Yeah, it's because of the code 2. It's because if you were to take an ideal entry using the code 2, that would be your maximum amount of ticks that you're going to make, instead of getting caught into some chop. That's the whole beauty of the code 2, is to get rid of all the chop, take the one right trade, and nail it. But what got tricky was the offsets in the code 2, in the code 1 really. the code 1 offsets trying to take a code 2 trade. That got tricky. So you'd lose a trade, then you'd go back the other way, then you'd win. But with code 3, if you knew what the code 2 is, the code 3, you could just nail the trade. You don't have to worry about any offsets, and just take the one right trade and then know what it's good for, and then make your measurement from where it started to where it should go, to where you are in relative to where it started, to where it should go, and how many ticks that is. And then you place your exit there, minus a little bit of a buffer. Anyway, I'm going to get going. It's getting late here. But my guess would be that this thing is going to, let's go take a look at the 1 minute. That's the 1 minute. Aha, okay, that looks better. Alright, my guess would be it's going to continue to go higher, give another code 3 long entry, and go up even more. But it is running out of time for it to do that. It's going to have to do that pretty soon. 9:30 already, Pacific Standard Time. It's got about an hour and a half to go. So if it doesn't do it, you know, within like an hour, it's out of time. It needs to do it within like half an hour, really, 45 minutes, and then it'd have time to move up even higher, and then go like instead of what 275 or something like that, it'll do like maybe 350 or something, 75 more ticks perhaps, somewhere around there, and go up even higher. That would be my guess. That would be my what I called for to happen, is that it would make a big day and go up 300 to 400 ticks. So I'm putting it at about 350 right now. But I can't stay up for it, so I'm going to sleep. And I hope all you code 3 traders, though, nail this trade and nail the upcoming trade. As you can see, code 3 works very, very well. Anyway, I'll be back on Thursday, everyone. Demonstrate some more for code Thursday and Friday, and then we'll switch to another contract. And we'll go see how well it works on that one. Happy trading, code traders, and especially code 3 traders. Hope you guys are all nailing these trades. See you tomorrow.